The eternal alone is real. So Sri Bhagavan says that what is not eternal is not worth seeking. For one wishes to abide in reality and not in an illusion. If it is the eternal we seek, how is it to be sought? And what is it? The Upanishads say, seek to know Brahman. The way, therefore, consists of knowledge. Brahman is the infinite and the eternal. It is that which exists. It is existence itself. The self's existence is Brahman. What is not Brahman is not your existence, not yourself. That which is born undoubtedly perishes. If there is a beginning, there is an end. If it appears, it disappears. Such is the case with all that is objective, whether such appears subtle or gross. The eternal is the ever-existent. Reality cannot be real at one time and unreal at another, but must always be real. The eternal reality alone is your existence. It is only misidentification that appears to obscure such, mistaking oneself for a body, which is most certainly not eternal, or falsely assuming the existence of an ego, the individuality. Being false, how is one to destroy it? By seeking to know what it is. If the nature of the individual is sought, the individuality, being false, vanishes, and the reality of eternal existence alone remains. How does the ego come to be? Or as Gaudapada has taught, the unborn cannot give birth to something. That is, the reality of eternal existence will not create the unreal. How has the ego come to be? See if it has come to be, and thus put an end to imagination. Clearly identify yourself only with that which is eternal. For in this lies perpetual peace and perfectly full happiness. The peace and happiness that are of the nature of existence itself. What is not eternal is not I, and is actually not real. You exist. You are existence. Existence plus something is delusion. Existence just as it is the truth. Seek to know Brahman. Seek to know yourself.
I was meditating on what is it that is eternal in my experience, and how do I actually know that it's eternal? The first place I usually try to find an answer to that kind of question is to start with my existence, and what is that experience? Is that something that is coming and going? Does it change? Because if it's changing, it's not eternal. It's morphing into something else. So it can't be anything in my senses or my thoughts, because they are always changing. But then the second question is, how do I actually know that it is eternal? And if I try to answer that question from an objective viewpoint, it feels like it's impossible to answer it, because time is going to be involved as the measurement of the eternal, and it just doesn't work. You can't use something that's that's limited to measure something that's unlimited. But when I try to get at that experience of my existence, it does feel eternal. And what am I using to experience that? And I can't. It's the existence itself, but it doesn't feel like any kind of measurement or any kind of. It's like it validates itself. It doesn't. There's nothing outside of my experience of my existence that I need to know that that's what the eternal is.
Being is knowledge. The self is self-luminous. It does not require anything else to know itself. When you say, how do I know that it's eternal? What is the nature of the subject?
So when you say the subject, just so I'm clear, the subject is the I in what is that I that's asking the question, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, there could be.
How will it measure abidance in that which is undifferentiated?
Measurement, I think, is inconsequential in that it just doesn't apply. If I try to measure my existence, it's kind of a silly exercise, because they don't go together. So what is the subject in that question would be its existence itself. It can't be anything else.
Does existence have an idea of knowing itself?
No, because it would need to stand apart from itself. You'd have to have the subject object.
There'd have to be two of you.
Yeah. And the deeper I dive into my existence, the clearer it becomes that it's singular. There's not another one. There's not two of me. There's not two existences.
So then the self is knowledge itself.
When I try to grasp what you just said, it has to be with the understanding that it's not objective knowledge. I can feel that there is a little pull towards that, but it's like, again, it can't be that statement sort of falls back in on itself, in that there's not something that knows, so that the being, the knowledge are not two different things knowing. Like the knowing knows the being, and the being, the only way I can really experience that is I just can't find, there's not words that are adequate, but I can definitely get a deep sense of it.
It's all right to be out of words.